What is up, everybody? It's your boy Doody back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's daily rap video after a day of low momentum. That's right. Clair Obscur is gonna get sent to ban world eventually. That's right. Our boy Phil had his slowest supported stream in over a year, and it's not making Phil feel good. That's right. So much so he decided to spend over 13 minutes gaslighting his community for not supporting an RPG. That's right. And we're back to blaming RPG burnout yet again. Good God. This guy's the king of excuses. Of course, nothing is ever his fault. It's always someone else's problem. It's always something else. It's some outside force that's causing this problem. So let's see what Phil had to say on the Daily Wrap.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday, the 27th of May, 2025. A great streaming day. Fun to be had, but also, with Clair Obscur, it just didn't go according to plan, to be honest, all right? So let's talk about it and what really happened and what went wrong and try to figure out exactly how we can change this in the future, all right? So today, I didn't do a podcast, and the reason being is because people have been saying, hey, you don't really need a podcast every day unless you have important topics to talk about, or maybe we haven't had a chance to do like a chill Q&A session in a few days. It'd be great if you can make more advancement in the games you're playing so it doesn't take as long to get through them. So last week, I tested this with Doom: The Dark Ages. Admittedly, it worked. We ended up finishing Doom in a great amount of time so that we could then move on to making more progress in the games that we were playing. So I did the same thing today with Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I said, we will not do a podcast. Instead, let's just play Clair Obscur for a good 4+ hours. Let's make as much progress as we can, and that'll help us, with our playthrough. The problem with Clair Obscur is we've been playing it for over a month, and it just doesn't seem like a lot of people are showing up for it anymore. Now, the playthrough itself is at, I think, 27 parts, but if you look at the actual length of the parts, they've all been between like an hour 15 to an hour 30. So the playthrough is arguably between 30 to 35 hours at this point. We're nearing the end of Act 2, from what I'm being told, and then there's Act 3, which apparently is really short. It's just the story finale, but in Act 3, apparently a bunch of side content opens up, so if you want to extend the length of your playthrough, you can. My approach has been, play through the story, right? But then if new side content opens up that's available, try it out. If it's too hard, then so be it, come back to it later. But in a lot of the cases, the side content that's been red danger actually has been beatable by me because I'm really good at parrying. Why am I good at parrying? Well, because I've been a full-time gamer for over 15 years, because I play competitive fighting games like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and so having timed inputs and parrying and things like that in other games, Sekiro, for example, is kind of a part of something that I've mastered. I get better at it the more I do it, and playing this game, fighting enemies that basically are way above my level, just parrying them allows you to beat them. Sometimes it's a war of attrition where you really have to survive.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there because, of course, this man the other day during his Memorial Day stream actually said that he would have been fit for military service because because he's a full-time gamer. That's right. The man who can deal with conflict because he was on the stage and played Evo and plays 4th place in Evo and was a competitive Street Fighter. That's right. He can handle conflict, and if he can handle Street Fighter and tournaments, he can handle military service and the war. So just wanted to quickly highlight that quick little point.
A lot, but it's worked. I've been able to overcome adversity and beat tough stuff that probably most people said, I'm too low level, I'll come back later to fight it. So because of that, I've been exploring side dungeons and optional boss fights and things that a lot of people skipped and came back to later, and people are now saying, oh, you're way over level. Well, I didn't make the game. I didn't put the side content in it. I didn't make it available when they did. If it really was intended to be played where you skip all side content until you're exactly the level where you can beat it, then they should have unlocked it at that time. Not, oh, it's all available to you now, but just skip it because you'll over-level if you beat it. That's silly. And to be honest, some of the best times I've had in this game were actually mastering the parrying enough that I could beat a really tough enemy, okay? So, today we finished up an optional area that was not a dungeon, but instead was just like a puzzle. Then we went right to the story. We played the story for about 90 minutes. So about 2 to 2.5 hours of today's stream was major regular progression. Then guess what happened? Esquire, who's the character that you're riding as your mobility, your vehicle for the game, got another ability. Now he can swim through the corals. Well, because he can swim through the corals, a whole bunch of new stuff unlocked. So let me go explore. So I go exploring, and I fought some super bosses. Yes, I beat another 1 or 2 of them. There was another optional dungeon. I was finishing it. And the entire stream, there was, not everyone, okay? But a few people are being very negative. And they're like, you over-leveled, you ruined the playthrough. And again, I'm like, what are you talking about? I've ruined the playthrough. I didn't make the game. I didn't put the side content there. I didn't make it available that early. How am I doing the wrong thing by playing something that's right in front of me? I just don't get it. You know, I understand if your criticism is, well, that side content over-levels you.
I think I let this man ramble on long enough. Good God, Phil. Jesus, why are you gaslighting your community? Just because certain individuals don't like the way you're playing a game, right? Or they feel like maybe you ruined the game, or you ruined the pacing, or you're just doing boring side content. That's their opinion. Why are you so butthurt? Why are you so upset? Why does there have to be a group think mentality when it comes to your community? You have a couple, I don't know what, 140 people there watching. You're to assume that you're gonna have people that disagree with how you're playing games, and that's okay. Why do you need to highlight them and acknowledge them? Why do you need to browbeat them into submission? Which is what he did yesterday. He essentially insulted people, called them idiots, called them morons, blamed the developers for the pacing of the game, how when things were unlocked and not unlocked. It's just ridiculous. Just play the fucking game, Phil, and stop focusing on these fucking negative people. Or as you call negative people, I just call them people with a fucking opinion, because that's all they really have. They just have a fucking opinion, dude. Jesus, this guy, man, he never lets the fuck up. He constantly has to browbeat people, and it always comes out when he doesn't hit his support goals. That it seems to become a problem whenever he doesn't hit support. Now he's gonna go on to talk about support, of course. So let's listen to Phil.
Okay, I'm the player, not the designer. You should direct that problem to the designers of the game and say, hey, when you make the next game, or when you tweak this game, patch it out so that the side content's not available so early. What do you want me to do? I bought the game. Well, I guess it's Game Pass. I didn't buy it, but I'm playing the game. I'm not going to skip content that I'm finding fun, challenging, and meaningful that's in the game to be played. Sorry that you couldn't beat it when I can, because you weren't as good at parrying, but I just don't understand. I really don't. And some people are saying, oh, it's boring. It's boring to see me challenge super bosses and take on challenging, interesting dungeons that you're not supposed to see till later. I don't think so. I actually think it's interesting to see me do it now when it's more challenging, rather than, imagine this. Imagine if everything in the game I only took on when I'm exactly the level for it. Then it's not as entertaining, because I'm not challenging myself. I'm not losing and persevering. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if I only did the stuff that was equal level with me, people would be like, oh, the game's too easy, too boring. You know, you steamrolled through it. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how I could please everyone, because it seems like no matter what, people complain. If I had just skipped all the content into the story, people would have been like, you rushed through the game, you skipped all the content, you know? So I don't know. Now, I've noticed a distinct fall off in this game's attendance. When we first played it a month ago, there was a lot of people watching. And then it just went down and down and down. Now we can barely get 150 people on YouTube and barely 60 on Kick. So I barely have 200 people watching. And the contributions today were the worst contributions, the lowest level that I have had for any stream so far in 2025. And for any stream since I was playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in early 2024. So it's been over a year since I've had a stream that had this low of contributions. It's RPGs. It's just that simple. RPGs, for some reason, don't resonate with my mainstream audience. Therefore, they'll come for action. They'll come for, adventure. They'll come for multiplayer. But when it comes to an RPG, even this, the most well-respected, well-reviewed, everyone loves an RPG, I still can't get people to show up. I don't know what to do. I really don't. I love RPGs. I wanted to play Metaphor, had to skip it. I wanted to play this game, and it worked for a month. Now, all of a sudden, it doesn't. It's the same game. I didn't change it. So what happened? I don't know. And no one can seem to give me an answer. Now, here's the problem. We're in the end of Act 2. If I were to go straight to the story and finish it up right now, we'd end up in Act 3, in which case I could just beat the game, but then there's a lot of side content that opens up. Do I just steamroll through the game and just beat it and say, that's it? Done? Because I've really enjoyed my time. There's a ton more side content that's opened up that I would like to do. Should I do it? Should I just say to hell with it? I'll be honest. I love the game, but I can't have it that every time I play this game, no one shows up and no one supports, and it's just the dead stream, I can't. Now, the thing is, up to this point, people have supported it. Even though it's been low attendance, people have supported it. Now it seems like that's also changed. So I don't know what to do. I'd like feedback. I'd like to know. I am going to keep playing it next week. Okay, I want to keep it in the rotation. I want to beat it, quite frankly. I already put over 30 hours into it. Like I said, we're probably about 35 hours into this playthrough. So it would suck to just end it now. But I love this game. This might very well be my game of the year pick. I don't know yet. There's a lot more games coming out this year, but it could be. So I don't want to, because of dwindling attendance and support, be like, I have to stop playing it. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. I want your feedback, what to do. Do I skip all side content and just play the story and finish it and say that's it and then miss out on a lot? Or do I keep playing it the way I am, but take a shot, like shoot myself in the foot here because people will not support it? I don't know. Let's talk about it, okay? And we're going to talk about this on the podcast tomorrow. So anyway.
There you have it, folks. That's right. Oh my God. And again, here we have Phil normalizing something. He's normalized support. So it's 150 or bust. If he doesn't get $150 per stream, it's a bust. It doesn't matter. He's even gotten 120 and still complains. Really, he does. And all this nonsense about, the new reward structure is better because people don't have to feel compelled to donate every time. No, it's far worse now. Now it's like every stream, if he misses, he's literally begging nonstop, guilt tripping people, putting out beg tweets. By the way, we got a beg tweet yesterday. That's how bad it was. And then on his channel, of course, he started complaining. He did a post just to complain about how low support was. Regurgitating the same shit he just said here about it was the lowest supporter stream in over a year. Phil, maybe, just maybe it's the end of the month. It's close to the end of the month. Maybe your pay pigs, the Dents, the 5 people who support your channel, maybe they're just flat broke. They have bills to pay, bro. Have you not heard of bills? I know you, of all people, know what bills are. Everyone has bills, Phil, just not you. Bills aren't solely designated for you, okay, Phil? They're made for everyone. So people around this time are probably paying their utilities, right, Phil? And utilities are pretty expensive. Now that we're going into the summer months, electricity is expensive as fuck, Phil. Okay? It's just a matter of fact that people just aren't going to always have money. And if you take a look at Phil's support throughout the month, you see an ebb and flow. You see days where it's good and you see days where it dips. And typically when Phil does good, it's typically at the beginning of the month. I wonder why. Why does Phil have a good beginning of the month? Maybe because disability checks and welfare checks. And yes, for the handful of people that work on Phil's stream, first paycheck. That's right. Most people get paid on the 1st and the 15th, Phil. And then you also see a slight significant uptick around the 15th when people get paid. Especially if people get paid on the 15th and it's near a Friday, Phil typically does pretty good. It's just economics, Phil. You went to college. You got a degree. You, of all people, should understand this. But apparently you don't. The greed has blinded this man to the point where it doesn't matter what excuse. And he'll sit there and say, no one's giving me a good excuse. Why should anyone give you a good excuse why they decided not to give you money, Phil? Because you begged for it and they decided, nah, I don't want to fork over my money. I'd rather spend it on myself. I'd rather spend it on my family. I'd rather pay a bill. I'd rather pay my credit card and not go into collections than give you money, Phil. But he doesn't get that. And this man's been streaming, calling out donations for how many years? And we've seen countless of people basically. Some dude yesterday came on his, I can't believe it. Some guy came on his Clair Obscur, whatchamacallit, after he just begged like a crackhead, right? He gave him a super chat of $4 and literally said, hey, Phil, this is my last $4. I wish I can give you more. Phil, that right there should make you pause and reflect and say to yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing here to the point where I'm driving people that have $4 in their bank account, which they probably didn't. They probably tapped their credit card. They have $4 to give you. So instead of saving it, buying themselves something like maybe a sandwich or a fucking lunch or something, right? They felt compelled to give you the money. And now they're flat broke until they get their next paycheck. That doesn't make you stop and ponder and say to yourself, man, what am I doing? What am I doing as a person? Of course not. Phil doesn't ponder those things because all he cares about is his bank account and his money and having enough money to fuel his vices. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about anyone. And you would have thought, like the guy said that in his message, you would have thought Phil would have said, hey man, if you need the money more than I do, man, I understand. You don't need to support me. And he should have stopped there and say, hey guys, I know I'm asking for $150, but if you don't have it, it's all right. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, take care of yourself first. But Phil would never do that because that would discourage his cult members to throw money their way. He builds this anticipation of, oh my God, you can be the person that saves the business. If you just give me your last $3 or your last $4, you can help save the business. And he does that. He feels this kind of anxiety with his viewers that if they don't give him the $150 per stream, it's going to spell disaster. I may just simply have to quit. And we all know Phil's never going to fucking quit this. He can be streaming 10 hours a day making $30, and if that's enough to support him, he'll do it rather than getting a fucking part-time job or a real job. We know he will. So this nonsense about, oh, it's going to destroy the business. No, and he has no business. He's an e-beggar. He's a panhandler, okay? Anyway, folks, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.